So good morning to all. So I'm Dr. Manu Sikarwar, Project Director at Science and Technology, Government of Rajasthan. And today in this session at SNT Open House, I welcome all our participants and our esteemed speaker and expert today is Professor Mayank Vats. So before we start the session formally, I would like to introduce our speaker, Professor Mayank Vats. So Professor Mayank Vats is a professor at IIT Jodhpur, and he's also project director of Technology and Innovation Hub on computer vision and augmented and virtual reality under the National Mission on Cyber Physical Systems supported by DST Government of India. Professor Vats is also adjunct professor at IIT Delhi and West Virginia University, USA. Professor Vats received his master's and PhD degree in computer science from West Virginia University, US in 2005 and 2008 respectively. He has authored about 250 publications in referred journals, book chapters, and conferences. His area of interest are biometrics, deep learning, machine learning, image processing, and information fusion. He has also co-edited books on deep learning, biometrics, and domain adoption for visual understanding. He is the recipient of prestigious Swarn Jayanti Fellowship from the Government of India, the A.R. Krishnaswamy Faculty Research Fellowship at IIT Delhi, and several Best Papers and Best Poster Awards at international conferences. He is an associate editor of Pattern Recognition, the general co-chair of IJSEB 2020, and the PC co-chair of IEEE FG 2021. So Professor Vats is with us, and so just to uh, know about this session to our all the lovely audience. So basically, the purpose of this particular webinar is to just means to tell our audience about the opportunities in artificial intelligence sector, and of course to the students of engineering background, from engineering background, and of course from science and others backgrounds also, to, the opportunities lying at our IITs in different institutions across the India, and particularly we are focusing students from engineering stream from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So how they can, during their course of their engineering, so how, what kind of means technical expertise they should develop, what sort of course they should do, and what are the challenges in this sector in India also. So we will be discussing all these points with Professor Vats. Professor Vats, good morning to you, and a lot
Dr.
many
Manu?
participants have joined us, and so we will be starting our session. So just for your, since I have already, since just the about this background, if I would like to request just for your opening remarks, to then we will start the session formally.
Okay, since there is some connectivity problem from Dr. Manu's side.
Is Professor Vats? Am I audible? Professor Vats? So we will be starting the session. I think some internet issue is there with the Professor Mayank Vats, so he will be joining in a while. So meanwhile, we will be just to apprise our audience again. So we will be discussing about the opportunities in artificial intelligence sector across the domain in engineering, even in basic sciences also. And Professor Vats, he's having a great experience in artificial intelligence. So he will be joining in a while. So, so Professor Vats,
Yeah, I'm here.
yes, you're there. Okay, great. So just to request you for your opening remarks, then we will start our session.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Manu, for a nice introduction and inviting me for this session. So I believe, as an opening remark, what I would like to say to all the students is, see, we are now living in an AI world, whether we accept it or not. But the future is going to be more and more AI-enabled applications and technology. So, for us, for the students, for the faculty members, for the institutions, it is now important that we adapt it. And if we adapt it sooner, it's better actually for our future growth, not only for us, for individuals, but also for the country, for the overall growth of the ecosystem. The countries who have already adapted, who are already at the forefront of this technology, they are probably right now leading the overall ecosystem, but India has also to catch up. And the most important thing in this whole task to catch up and to be at least among the top countries in the world to have like AI ecosystem built is when we talk to and when we enable uh, even the students from tier 2 and tier 3 cities who can also contribute. So unless until we have a proper workforce, few institutions cannot lead. The leading aspect would only come when everyone, students from different institutions and organizations, also like people, different organization can come together and join hands. So I'm glad that you are organizing this session, and today I'm here, and whatever knowledge I have, I can share with all the participants.
Thank you, Professor Vats, for your opening remarks. So, just to apprise you, since across the India, so Government of India, they have this MHRD, Government of India. So they have opened a lot many IITs now. Around 24 or 27 IITs are there, and besides that, then we have triple IITs, and of course ISETS institutions are also there in Institute of Science Education Research. So these are basically premier institutions, and they have that kind of faculty and research ecosystem in their universities or even in these institutes. But when we talk about our tier 2 and tier 3 cities, so we have our engineering colleges there, or even the science colleges are also there, and
Mhm.
that course curriculum is basically prescribed by their respective technical universities in which to which they are affiliated. So and so there are of course infrastructural and other challenges in those institutions, but due to lot many things, means maybe due to some constraint and other things, so those students are not able to catch up with these institutions like IITs and other institutions. For looking into these conditions, so what are the skills? Suppose any students in his first year only, when he is taking admission in BTech or bachelor in engineering computer science, or maybe in some another stream, but he's interested to make his career in artificial intelligence, or he want to develop this field. So what are the skills are required for an engineering student while pursuing his bachelor's degree in this AI or machine learning field? Yeah.
See, I'll actually start with how the field has progressed. See, I'm sure many students would know that first time the automated intelligence or machine intelligence was coined by Alan Turing in 1950, right? So, and then in 1955, John McCarthy, who coined the term artificial intelligence, right? And at that point of time, he wanted to have a little bit more broad scope of this term artificial intelligence and not focusing only on automata theory. Okay, so these are the keywords which I'm actually now putting in, so that the students can connect all the dots, and then towards the end I'll also talk about the specific preparations of the courses essentially. Then the initial ages of AI was focusing more on rule based expert systems, that kind of thing, right? So those kinds of topics. Slowly, neural network backpropagation came in. It picked up, died down. Support vector machines came in. Different pattern recognition algorithms were very popular. Right. So in 80s, a conference like CVPR was constituted and became a popular conference. Initially, at least this is what I've heard from different professors who are at the forefront of this technology, that CVPR in those days was like 100 people, 150 people attending the conference. A small community, but it was growing in. AAA was another conference which was constituted in 60s, like late 60s. And slowly the field actually exploded in like 2010 onwards, with the prevalence of deep learning algorithms. Obviously, the contributions from different sectors also came in, like a lot of databases, the progress in databases, building larger data sets, progress in GPU technology, right? So those things contributed in having the deep learning era in AI, broad AI. And if you see in all this, there are three things are very important in all this progression in 1950 till today, almost like 70 years, right? So more than 70 years now. Fundamentals in computer science is very important. And when I say fundamentals in computer science, this means like you need to know data structures, you need to know algorithms, you need to have a good understanding, a solid understanding of mathematics. Like linear algebra, probability stats are at the core of AI technologies. Like jokingly, we even say that many of the algorithms, which when so-called the fancy AI terms that we throw in, they all are stemming from statistics, mathematics. So in fact, John McCarthy, who was originally a mathematician, who is called as the father of AI, right? So it is therefore very important, and the mathematical fundamentals have to be taken care of. Even in like BTech first year, second year time frame, we can very easily teach students probability stats, mathematics, but not from the core mathematics perspective. That is also important, like proofs and like chalkboard based proof and all those things are good, important, but they also need to connect, like the instructors need to connect that, okay, fine, this is Bayes rule. How the Bayes rule is then connected with, let's say, Bayes classifier. Can we give students that flavor, that connection, that this is how the things can be translated from pure maths to AI technologies. As I said, like a simple example I gave, this entire Bayesian theory, if you do not know about basic probability, you cannot understand Bayesian theory. If you do not know what is expectation, and again, this is a term in the probability theory, right? So if you do not know what is expectation, it will be very hard for you to understand what is Bayesian network. It's not going to be straightforward. You need to go through that whole steps. So mathematics is something which I strongly urge all the students to ensure that they have a good foundation in maths, particularly in probability stats, linear algebra, and probably even a bit of numerical analysis. Because even many of the optimization algorithms are stemming from numerical analysis approaches, like Euler theory, or even Lagrangian, and all these are actually very much adapted in different machine learning algorithms. So this is about the fundamentals, right? So the fundamentals have to be strong. Fundamentals in computer science, fundamentals in mathematics. Then we talk about, okay, the next step of the next layer of courses have to be, or the next layer of technologies need to be taught to the students, which are like introduction to machine learning. As I said, like some simple examples, like, okay, what is Bayes theory? What is principal component analysis? Topics like decision theory, right? Decision trees, even neural networks, support vector machine. These all can be very much like a layer, like as a course, which is like introducing these machine learning concepts to the students. Now, the students who are interested in further knowing about the recent advancements, they can go into a course like deep learning, a dedicated course on deep learning, because the last almost 10 years of progress is happening in the deep learning world. Like AI and deep learning are now synonymous. So the students should have that kind of fundamental understanding of what is deep learning, what are the progresses happening. And based on this foundation, now if I say this is my entire foundation of AI machine learning, students can learn different applications like natural language understanding, computer vision, right? AIoT. All these are then applications based on the student's interest, area of interest. He or she can actually choose from this uh, from different growing areas and cyber physical systems, right? So all these are interesting applications of AI. Even we are not talking about 5G coming in very soon. Now, how AI and 5G can have a blended application, unless until students know what is IoT, what is good understand like theory about AI, and what is like communication, 5G communication, you cannot understand what would be the future in the 5G world. So that's what I would suggest all the students to focus on. Starting from your first year, focus on the fundamentals, and then slowly, gradually, in 4 years, you build more advanced concepts.
Uh, you rightly, Professor Vats, you rightly said that means focusing on the fundamental in computer science is the first and prior most requirement, and thereafter they have to develop their interest as per the application criteria. So definitely, it's a good suggestion for our students. So just to uh, let us know means since if their syllabus is means apart from their because when these students are entering into this BE or BTech structure,
Mhm.
the 4 year
Mhm.
structure, then they have to complete their syllabus also. And sometimes, due to some procedural issues, their syllabuses are not well updated. So what suggestions you will give? Because nowadays what we are seeing is that this technology, this AI, the challenges and opportunities are very fastly changing, and their
Yes.
syllabus they don't get updated in a very frequent manner due to various reasons. So what you will suggest? So what's your suggestion? So whether our university system, your means if they are in autonomous mode, so they have to continuously for particularly engaging or to having a qualified skilled manpower. So what's your suggestion to even for the administrators also in university system?
I think that's a very good and very pertinent question. See, if we are if we, in 2020, 2021, if we are teaching syllabus which was relevant in, let's say, 1970s, 1980s, or even 2000, it's not going to help the students because the field has progressed, right? So I remember when I joined my undergrad, it was C programming, which was very popular at that point of time. That's why I still call that my mother tongue is C programming, right? So then slowly we moved on to C++. Thereafter, obviously Java was already there, but I specifically stayed in C++. And then in last 8 years, I'm now actually means even at this level, I still code. I still write my codes for my research papers and all. And now we are working in Python. Unless until I, as a faculty, adapt to this new growth, how can I expect my students to adapt to this new growth? Right. So I still remember so in during my PhD days in early 2000, I actually worked on neural networks, but never from the deep learning perspective. When I became a faculty, uh, even I did not start research on deep learning because at that point of time in late like 2009, no, 2010 time onwards, it was still not picking up. It was there, few papers were there, people were talking about it, but still the world was divided into deep learning and non-deep learning, right? And more and more questions were there. People were skeptical. But by 2012, with my students, we actually jumped into this whole thing, whole bandwagon, I would say. If we had waited for, let's say, another 10 years to say that, let the field mature and then I'll jump, then it would have been very, very late for us in terms of where our students are right now, where things are happening in our lab. So it is very important that we adapt. So unless and as I said, like unless until I change myself, if I don't keep on updating my knowledge, how can I ensure that my students are also updated? Right? If I had only kept myself based on my knowledge during my PhD, 12 years, more than 12 years time interval, if I have to stay there only, we could not expect our students to flourish when they are in industry. So this is true for, like, means, while I talked about like my personal progression, but this is exactly true for university systems, different faculty members, that we need to grow. If we want our students to succeed, if we want us to succeed, we also need to grow, we also need to adapt. So while I understand the challenges of adapting the courses on a very regular, frequent basis, but can we safely say that the first 2 years of education, or maybe 2.5 years of education, maybe 5 semesters education, is all what is like the fundamentals? Then the last 3 semesters of education is where the recent technologies are. So then we can actually give our students uh, both the fundamentals and at the same time the advancements in form of electives. See, I know many institutions are unable to offer the bunch of electives to the students. This is something which I have seen like in IITs, in triple IITs, in probably in NITs also. Um, if given the faculty strength in these institutions, we offer our students different electives, and then students can choose, okay, I'll take elective A versus elective B based on the area of interest of the student. And these electives are generally more advanced in nature. Like suppose like this semester I'm teaching computer vision, and I'm talking right now about the growth happening in computer vision in 2018 to 2021, in last 3 years. So my topics, the research papers which students are studying, they are actually the progress that has happened in last few years. That I cannot teach in a core, let's say, machine learning course, because the topics in the core machine learning, the first fundamental course on machine learning, would cover, already has a lot of topics to be covered. Similarly, we here at IIT Jodhpur, we teach a course called Dependable AI. This is a bouquet of very advanced topic, like what is happening even right now in the community, like building trusted AI systems, building dependable AI systems. And such a course is not available in India in many institutions. Probably just two, three handful institutions in India has that kind of course. So unless until we provide these cutting edge knowledge to the students, it will be very hard that they can contribute back to the country in terms of their knowledge growth, and eventually we become leaders, right? So this is another suggestion which probably the university administration or institute administration can take, that offer more and more elective courses. If there is on, let's say, one bouquet, one slot for elective course, don't offer a single elective course. Otherwise it just like defeats the purpose of saying that these are like slot for elective. Probably offer multiple elective courses and students can choose from. The request to the students is that don't look at easy electives, look at electives where they think their interest lies, and they think that they would actually get the maximum knowledge which will help them to flourish in industry. Don't look at easy grades, look at more knowledge. Learning should prevail. That's what my message is for both students as well as the administrative administration, that they should think from that perspective.
Uh, and thank you, Professor Vats. You have rightly suggested that during this syllabus, for at least for the last 3 semesters, they should focus on the recent technologies, and it's a great suggestion. And just moving to this point, since we sometimes we have we don't have that kind of qualified or means updated faculty in our tier 2 or tier 3 cities in computer science, or maybe in other streams also. Although AICT and other bodies, they do offer quality improvement and faculty development programs regularly, but due to some updation or due to some scarcity of resources, so their faculties are not that kind updated, because it requires at least, if they are going for some specific courses, even the faculties are going for some specific courses, they require a rigorous training. So instead of going for 1 week or 2 weeks, so it has to be for at least 1 or 2 months trainings they should be It should be there. So other programs are also there for students. So what's your suggestion for taking up elective courses? So nowadays Coursera, Udacity, so there such kind of other platforms are also there, and they are
Mhm.
offering different MOOCs or maybe some courses by tying up different universities. So what's your suggestion to the students also while they are doing, suppose they have completed their fourth semester, 2 years of their engineering, what's your suggestion?
Right. See, the suggestion actually, I have twofold suggestion. One from the faculty growth perspective, and another for students growth perspective. See, you're absolutely right that unless until the faculty in institutions, they update themselves, right? So, and see, like even I as a faculty have to update myself, right? And when I say when I have to update, means my updation happens because I travel to conferences. My update happens because I talk to many people, like and researchers who are at the forefront of the growth, right? So I collaborate with them, and I read papers on a regular interval. Right? I work with my PhD students very closely, and when they update me, oh, this is what is happening in the world, I listen to them. I look at what they are reading. So even I am getting updated based on this new knowledge, which is flowing in form of top conference papers, top journal papers. I'm reading those papers and updating myself. Similarly, the faculty members in the tier 2 and tier 3 city institutions should also update themselves. That update can happen based on a lot of tutorials available on the web, right? So at least while this pandemic has done so much harm to the entire humanity, but one good thing which has come out is that now I'm sitting in my home, you are sitting in your home, and we are doing this live session. So this digital footprint, increase in the digital footprint, has enabled everyone to access a lot of resources which are available. So my request to all the faculty members also is to update themselves. They also need to study. Means a teacher is always a student. Unless until I am a student, I cannot learn new things. Then I cannot disseminate new things. Right. So that's why we are in this profession. Uh, I am in this profession by choice, right? Not by force. So I know that I need to be always with the young minds who would question, who would have doubts, and I need to clear their doubts, and therefore I need to be updated. Similarly, these faculty members should also leverage this digital footprint available nowadays. If you see, even the topmost conferences like AAAI, CVPR, ICML, NeurIPS, all are happening in online mode. We can listen to the keynote talks over there. This would give us, if Jan LeCun is saying self-supervised learning is the new topic, then it is not restricted to only few handful people who are attending the conference anymore. It is available to the world, right? So one, the first fold is that the faculty members should have the motivation, the inherent motivation to update themselves. The second part is coming to students, that students should also not limit themselves to their institutional education system. They should also look out the opportunities, like as you mentioned, Coursera, Udacity, and all these platforms are there. Even NPTEL in India, a lot of courses are available through NPTEL. Even government of India has a lot of initiatives, like initiatives through NASCOM, initiative through NPTEL. Even different IITs have opened up their doors for different courses. Like for instance, IIT Jodhpur, we have started having students in a casual mode. Even a working professional can join, let's say, one or two courses of their choices in a given semester, and do the courses here in a completely online mode. He or she has to attend all the classes, do all the assignments as if he or she is doing the course over here in our institute, right? And then you have that particular knowledge. So now, given this online teaching platforms, we have enabled that students from other institutions can also join, right? So obviously we have limited seats available for these casual students. So there is a slight competition. There may be a slight competition as well. But at the same time, this also gives an opportunity for students to learn from the advanced courses in these institutions. So this also enables these, let's say, second tier and third tier city institutions, that they start also recognizing, if let's say a student does a course of computer vision in IIT Jodhpur and gets a grade. Let's say if I evaluate the student with respect to different assignments, quizzes, and everything, and gives a grade, then the institution can adapt and say, if the student has received a B grade in IIT Jodhpur in computer vision course, I am going to count this in the degree requirement. And this is not IIT Jodhpur. I'm sure other IITs are also doing this. Some similar programs other IITs are also doing. So this digital footprint, this digital availability of this digital footprint enables the students to explore some of these options. So, and but at the same time, the institutions have to also recognize that they need to leverage on these digital resources. Like even national this NDLI, National Digital Library of India, which is championed by IIT Kharagpur, even that is a rich library available over there. Students can access. I don't know how many students are aware of NDLI, right? So students can leverage now these kinds of initiatives across different institutions in India as well as abroad to get the benefit and have the knowledge which is probably top of the line.
You rightly said, Professor Vats, because these kind of opportunities means through this NDL or even this NPTEL is there, and many initiatives are also there. So just a specific question is there. So what you will suggest about the job opportunities? Job opportunities in terms, suppose, so we have different categories. Suppose a student is there, he completes his bachelor's, BTech or BE, then whether what you will suggest, whether he or she should go for MTech, or MTech student should go for PhD. So means, what about the job opportunities? Because this is a different kind of field. AI is a different kind. Lot many things are happening. So one should gain some experience in some company. Then he should again return to some good institution like IIT or an institute of science, and he should work on some project. So how you will suggest, means, regarding the job opportunities?
Sure. So see, there are job opportunities available at different levels, right? But these jobs are now changing. The nature of jobs are changing. And this is what, like many times I get a question that whether AI will kill all the jobs or not, right? And then if all the jobs will be killed, then AI will enable a lot of vacant, the people will be like not doing anything, probably not doing any productive things, right? So, but my answer to that kind of ecosystem would be that no, the answer is AI will have a different, like AI is enabling different kinds of jobs. It is just like in 80s when the computers were coming to India, there was a fear that computers will kill all the job. But it didn't happen, right? Means India became the one of the powerhouses for software industry. The job profile shifted, right? People who are more like in those eras, if you see the engineering branches which are more popular in those time, right now no more actually, that they're not popular at all. Even those branches are now adapting. And for instance, like in civil engineering, smart infrastructure is more popular than the traditional civil engineering, right? So adaptation is very required, even, and that's why adaptation in the job profile is also very important. So if a student earlier was thinking that okay, he or she will become a software engineer, probably he or she needs that AI part during the undergrad education, so that the software engineer role, which now involves more and more AI technology, more and more data science technology, is then the student can fit in that kind of domain. Now, if student wants a little bit more breadth in AI and data science, obviously the student should go for a master's degree. Now, in India, we have many institutions, including IIT Jodhpur, offering MTech in AI or MTech in data science. Okay, so unfortunately, in IIT Jodhpur, we have both the programs, MTech in artificial intelligence as well as MTech in data and computational sciences. Students can opt for one of these programs based on their preference, based on their choice, and enhance their skill set for slightly better job profiles. Right now, if the student says no, my appetite for knowledge is more. I want more knowledge. I want more in-depth knowledge in the chosen area, then the student should go for PhD program. And again, fortunately, so at least in my times when I was searching for a PhD position, it was only 5 IITs and an ISC Bangalore, right? So there are 6 or 7 institutions across India. That was the option. In 2021, it has increased significantly. Thankfully, all the governments, current and previous governments, they have opened up new institutions and provided new opportunities, and many faculty members or many people have also come back from abroad and joined many of these institutions. So now we have a lot more options available to students, and they don't have to necessarily go abroad for their education. That quality education can be given, can be obtained within India also now, right? So depending on one's appetite, one's career progression, he or she can choose, okay, I'll stay at undergrad level but with the fundamental knowledge in AI. I want more skill set to be developed, can go for masters. And again, I said, like, now more and more programs are being launched. Even IIC Bangalore has a program, IIT Hyderabad has such programs, IIT Jodhpur has, even many IITs actually have either data science or AI or both programs. Now, and then if someone says no, I want to actually excel, I want to be one of the AI researchers in India, uh, contributing in building technologies, just not the users of AI, but the and the technos of AIs, then go for PhD. Within India, outside India, opportunities are available, and students should then think from PhD and all those perspectives. Here I would like to also point out that at least when I was going for my PhD, my family members used to say that, do you want to become teacher? That was the mindset in early 2000s, later 90s and early 2000, that if I'm doing PhD, I'll sure become a faculty. Nowadays, it's not true anymore. Even in order to get the cutting edge industry positions, it is expected that you hold a PhD degree. Like all my PhD students, so I've graduated, like guided or co-guided about like 7 PhD students so far. Sorry, eight PhD students, and about 6 PhD students are about to graduate. So 14 of them are in industry. None of them are in academics. And these students are just not sitting in India; they're actually worldwide now. So one is in Singapore, another is in Canada, 2 are in US, right? And even my first PhD student right now is a research director in American Express. So you need actually now PhD degree if you are at that level, if you want a job of that kind. So therefore, don't restrict yourself that PhD is only when you have to become faculty.
Professor, so another question is there. So means when we just compare India to other countries also like US, Canada, China. So how do you see the growth in AI field in India? And and other than this, have we developed enough talent pool and infrastructure accordingly across the India? Because just I was looking to another institution. So one in university is there in Montreal, and they have developed this Mila Institute is there. So the Mila is a community of more than 500 researchers. So they are basically specialized in machine learning and dedicated to scientific excellence and innovation. So have we such kind of dedicated means so Mila just say it's a kind of hub for AI people. So AI kind of expertise is there. So it means 500 is a big number, not from the means quantity kind of thing. So quality is also there in terms of publications, in terms of engagement with the industry, and all other things are also there. So have we developed enough infrastructure and kind of talent pool in our this AI ecosystem in India? So what's your observation on this aspect?
Right. I think that's a very good question. Means, are we there yet? And my answer is that no, we are not. Means we have to accept. See, unless until we accept that, we cannot improve, right? So, see, the benefit is with respect to, let's say, Canada. So Canada, like Mila Lab is one example that you talked about. Even Toronto, University of Toronto, and in Mila. So there are multiple such hubs in Canada. There, like at least three big hubs in Canada. I would say at least like 25 hubs in US. Even more, means 25 would be a lower number. In China, we have also like so many other initiatives. Even Chinese government about 4 years ago, even they promised that they will pump in $4 billion in the development of AI technologies. So probably yes, we are late. We are late in that movement. So far, we have been primarily the users of AI systems, but and whereas Canada, US, China, these countries have been probably the developers now at the developer side. We have to also make transformational changes to reach to the other side, like so that we are also the developers of AI, creators of AI technologies. Thankfully, last year, Government of India initiated um, this entire like ICPS program, this National Mission on Cyber Physical Systems, through which they have established these 24, 25 hubs across India. Like we are the hub of computer vision technologies, which is again, if you see the entire AI umbrella, computer vision is one of the application areas of AI, right? Similarly, there is a national hub on AI at IIT Kharagpur. There is a national hub on robotics at ISC Bangalore. IIT Delhi is hosting the hub on cobotics, and so on and so forth. If you see even uh, uh, the national hub on data science at ISI Calcutta, right? So now these are different hubs getting placed at different institutions. At least that initiative has happened. Government has committed the funding support to these hubs. In the recent cabinet budget, if you see, Government of India has also allocated the funding for AI research. So at least government has started recognizing that effort. Niti Aayog is also working hard in coming up with different policy guidelines. Like very recently in February, we have this uh, guideline on responsible AI for all released. So students who want to do some research progress, some new research ideas should look at the particular document, which is called as responsible AI for all. Just Google search this responsible AI for all Niti Aayog, you will actually find that document as the first hit. It's a very fine piece of document. Many of us contributed in populating that document, coming up with a document which talks about what should be the next kind of AI technologies to be built, which is responsible, which is dependable, which is trustable. So we are heading now in that direction. We should have headed in that direction 10 years ago. Probably we missed that particular time frame, but thankfully better late than never, right? So thankfully now we are building that ecosystem. Right now, Entire India may not have 500 researchers in AI, but our hope is that in next 5 years, each of these hubs would actually create the manpower, the entire ecosystem required to be in the top five uh, countries for AI research. So that's the hope. With that hope, we all are working, and more and more manpower is required. So this is another thing which I keep on telling the students from other institutions, that it's not that only students from IITs are going to be there in this manpower. Means that that's a limited number, right? So if in a year, let's say IIT Jodhpur takes about 500 students, there are 25 IITs at an average, even let's say 1,000 students, there are 25,000 students only. With 25,000 students, not everyone is going to work in AI domain. It's a small number. If we have to be the leader, then the institutions all across India, just not IITs, have to come forward and have to actually contribute in this ecosystem. And that's what, and the way I see is that these hubs that government has now established in different IITs and other institutions, they are going to play a major role. And more opportunities for the students will be available through these hubs now.
So, so Professor Vats, have you rightly said under this ICPS program of DSTGOI, they have means trying to establish different kind of technology innovation hub across the India, and particularly in IITs and Institute of Science. So, so since you have this Drishti Technology Innovation Hub, Drishti, basically on computer vision and augmented and virtual reality. So what kind of means opportunities, if you can further elaborate? Suppose a student who is doing a BTech in any tier 2 or tier 3 city, or maybe from other professionals also. So what kind of opportunities are available under this technology innovation hub, Drishti at IIT Jodhpur? How he or she can apply, and other than that, so I've also heard that that TISC at IIT Jodhpur, so they work in deep tech startups. They are supporting deep tech startups. So how means for what about this deep tech startup? If you can further elaborate to our listeners also, so it will be of great help.
Sure. See, let me start with I have Drishti, because I'm currently heading that. So as a project director, see, if anyone actually across India, anyone has any interesting project idea, which is probably sellable, right, and has a wide applicability, can approach us, and based on evaluation of that idea, we can support that initiative. So we are going to soon start the undergraduate research support, and this is not limited to only students from IITs. This is going to be an open competition, right? So anyone can propose their idea and say that this is my idea and I want to work on it. Obviously, there will be an evaluation process, and after the evaluation process, we'll select a few projects where we would hope that with the support from I Have Drishti, which is our technology hub, um, the students can make a real progress. Our hope is that with this kind of support, the students can think of um, taking their technology to the next level. If you see the technology readiness level, or TRLs, generally the ideas are at TRL1. When we say I have an idea, that is essentially TRL1. Reaching from TRL1 to TRL9, which is my final product, is a very long journey, right? So we hope that we can provide support to some such groups who can take their idea, which is a TRL1 to TRL3 and 4. Then we have this entire startup ecosystem within TIH, within all the hubs. So if the idea from TRL1 moves to, let's say, TRL3 or TRL4, where now we have a prototype. So TRL4 is where the prototype is designed and tested on. the lab conditions data, or the testing conditions data, right? Not actually at a client side, at a product side, but it is now at that level where now if it is there, we can build a startup on top of it and take it to the next level, have more manpower, so that we can go to higher TRLs. Then the student, if the student reaches there, means if a team reaches there, we can support the team in form of forming the startup. We are planning to have engineering accelerator soon, so that through with the help of engineering accelerator, these startups can see the ecosystem on the other side, support from the industry. And once actually startup is there, the product established, obviously the marketing, the marketability, the client side, and all those things, the ecosystem is then again we are building within these hubs. As you said, like through TISC also, like the deep tech technologies, the products related to that, then they can be actually connected to the wide network of different clients, right? And then once we start selling it, we start having an improvement, like a financial cycle also would start, and therefore product can be refined based on the different feedback that we obtain, and so on and so forth. Now if you see, this is a whole life cycle. A student starts the project in undergraduate or in masters or in PhD, goes to from TRL1, goes to TRL 3 or 4, builds a startup, and moves from TRL 4 to TRL 7, 8, 9. Right? So and we have the support of this entire progression. All the all the hubs. So it is not related to only I have Drishti at IIT Jodhpur. This is we will support anything which is related to computer vision. But if someone is interested in, let's say, social networks, they can look at the TIH, which is supporting social networks. Natural language understanding, probably IIT Patna's TIH will help that. If you're interested in robotics or cobotics, then IIT Delhi or ISC Bangalore will be the right TIH to support that. But end of the day, if you see, all these are interlinked together. Means you are, let's say, if you're building a robotics based some product which also has cameras, right? So even our hub, maybe two hubs can join together and help the student or the team to grow further. And those interlinkings right now we are also building, so that one hub can also talk to each other, and have that's why this network is very important. And the if you enter from any of the hubs, the network is then will be available to you for your growth. So therefore this ecosystem, as I said, like thankfully DST and government of India is now setting up this whole ecosystem, which enables students from any institution with good ideas join in and take their ideas to the next level, right? So this is true for hubs, this is true for TISC is also like a mechanism. It's a business incubator, right? So a business incubator helps in incubating the business, connecting with VCs, connecting with the right stakeholders, and that's the role of TISC at IIT Jodhpur.
Okay, Professor Vats, so when this technology innovation hub it is going to invite the applications, so probably in the coming academic session from July, or so it will
Yes.
take some time.
No, so that is our target. Our website is almost ready. In fact, it is available online. We are populating all the details there, and probably you can share the details with other participants also. It is I have dash drishti.ai. So that's the website of our I have, and we are actually going to populate and announce all these programs through our website. Like we are right now working on having a summer school on dependable AI to enable students and interested I would say interested students to gain the knowledge what is happening in building trusted AI systems, right? So similarly, like we are coming up with other programs. So probably by July onwards, uh, we will have some of these programs launched, so that academic session, mostly it will start around August, early August. Students will have about like 2 semesters to build. The selected students who will be selected will have something to build in 2 semesters time frame, and then they can get actually benefit of the support.
Of course, it's a great news that you will be taking up students from the probably from July onwards, and such kind of facility means for this it is available in Rajasthan also. So it's a great news for students from Rajasthan also. So they can also take this opportunity and learn lot many things in this AI sector. So another one technical question is also there. So since you have just shared that in February, Niti Aayog had shared the technical documents. So what's your suggestion or what's your opinion on the blind spots on which we must shed light in order for AI to benefit all?
Uh, see, this is see. I was also like I was being discussed. I participated in different sessions with Niti Aayog before this document came in, like given the including giving the feedback, and participating in different panels. Last year, Government of India also organized this RAISE conference, like Responsible AI conference, where even Prime Minister Modi ji also he inaugurated that particular conference. And the purpose of these whole guidelines or organizing the race conference is to apprise everyone that there are blind spots, there are challenges in building AI systems, or I would say challenges in building responsible and trustable AI systems. So we need to ensure that we understand AI technology. Okay. Second, we recognize the blind spots. Third, if we do these two things, the third thing will automatically happen, that we work on those mitigating those blind spots. Right. So I'll give a very small and interesting example. So we were testing some face recognition systems in our lab, and we picked up, like, see, India is a very interesting country with respect to demographies. People coming from northeast to Rajasthan, from top Kashmir to even south Kanyakumari, right? So there is a lot of variety in us, in Indians. Can we say that the face recognition technology being built can cater to the need of this wide demography? So we were testing. We in so Professor Richa Singh, who is also our head of the department in computer science at IIT Jodhpur, we both were working on a project which also has received the Facebook Ethics and AI Award. That within India, can we say that, okay, the face recognition technology is uniformly working or not working? What we realize is that the pre-trained models which are available, the systems that we just take out of the shelf, they could not actually work on many cases. For example, from one part of the country, people wear turban and have beard and mustache, right? So from Punjab. Uh, so if I show the face, such faces, for us, for you and me, we can recognize. But for face recognition algorithm, that was actually a challenging scenario, a blind spot. When I gave some samples of Maricum to a very small set of data set of only Northeast population, it could not recognize Maricum as the first hit. For me and you, again, we can recognize Maricum anytime, right? So give me any photograph. If since we know her in terms of her achievements, we can recognize. But the algorithms could not do that. So that wide demography which India shows, algorithms could not cater to the needs of this wide demography. So what this tells us, there are blind spots. We recognize those blind spots. Now our students are working on fixing those blind spots. And this is a small example just to highlight that it is important to even find the blind spots, and then we make the progress, right? So then we can fix it. So there are many such actually applications in India which are untouched, which are probably and even probably the Western world may not have any interest in solving our problems. So we have to solve those problems on our own.
That's great. You rightly explained this particular question about the blind spots by taking a suitable example. So one question is also there, Professor Watts. So, since apart from engineering students, we do have lakhs of students studying in basic sciences and doing their masters and research then in different institutions across the India. So what's your suggestion? If suppose any student is interested in doing the using this AI, so what's your suggestion during his bachelor's time only? He or she should learn these languages like R or Python, or whether first to just generate an interest and wait for masters. Because I have seen couple of examples. Means yesterday only I was looking into one of the examples in Aiza Mohali, one student from Aiza Mohali. So he did his master in physics and now he's serving in some fintech company in US. So based on his experience in learning codes and other things. And one other example is there in one researcher was there, and then she is now basically assistant advisor or assistant editor in some computational science journal from Aiza Mohali itself. So she's from life sciences. So what's your suggestion for students from basic sciences also?
I think that's a very pertinent question. That see generally our educational system, if we go by the traditional route, then civil engineers should not understand what the programming is, right? Again, I'm just like taking an example. Mechanical engineer should maximum focus on CADs, but in today's world we cannot make such a statement. In today's world everything is connected, everything is digital. So programming is going to be fundamental for any branch. So my suggestion to all the students is that irrespective of your branch, have a very strong programming, at least in Python. You should know data structures, you should know algorithms. Even if you want to take your class courses in your institution, or you want to go and take courses in Coursera or NPTEL or wherever you want, wherever you can follow through. Please take these courses, please acclimatize yourself very well that you can do good programming with proper data structures, with proper algorithms. That is a must, right? Now the second thing which comes in, and this is something which in IIT Jodhpur we have done last year, we have now introduced our introduction to machine learning course to all the branches. So in third semester, every student of IIT Jodhpur, irrespective of the branch, takes a course on introduction to machine learning. Computer science students and AI BTech students, they take an electrical engineering, they take a slightly more advanced version of AI, which we call it as pattern recognition machine learning, in fourth semester. But other 7 branches or 6 branches of students, they take introduction to machine learning in third semester. So what our plan is that, okay, in third semester, if everyone knows what is machine learning, what is AI, basic AI, then they can, in their domain, they can start applying machine learning technologies, AI technologies in their domain. In their different course projects also, they can start applying. So that is where like we are coming from. That's why, as I said, like last year, we had hours and hours of brainstorming session in designing such courses for our students, even in civil engineering or in bio or in like any other department, like mechanical, any department. Every student has to do that particular course. So again, and I'll repeat that these fundamentals of maths, fundamentals of programming, with this introduction to machine learning course, prepares students of any branch for to ensure that, okay, now tomorrow, if let's say you want to work in smart infrastructure, your knowledge from civil engineering is going to be very useful If you have the fundamentals covered in what do you mean by intelligence, then only you can build infrastructure on top of it. That's how your smart infrastructure will be built. Again, in a very naive sense, I have tried to explain this, but students should have this internal understanding that this is what I want to do. Many of my students, at least some of my students right now, they do not have computer science background. Like even my PhD students, they have background in electronics or even bio. And now we are actually working with them in building AI technologies. So it's never late to shift your area. In fact, one of my friend who is my colleague here also, he is a civil engineer. BTech was in civil engineering. Then he did his PhD in cryptography. He is a well-known face in India for cryptography research. So it's never late to change your area, or it's never late to update yourself. The point here is that you need to be ready to update yourself. And again, I'm going back to that point where the institutions should also enable students learning these fundamental of computer science, fundamental of programming, and fundamental of machine learning, AI technologies, and have them as in the curriculum for all the branches, irrespective of whether it's computer science or mechanical engineering or civil engineering.
That's great suggestions, Professor Vatsa. Means rightly from means telling students, suggesting students that what sort of courses they should take care while doing their bachelors, and of course to, with our faculty members and to our university administrators about updating the syllabus, course curriculum, and more suggestions about the opportunities lying in different institutions across the India, supported by either by DST government of India or other by state governments. So it's a great session with you, and of course the key takeaway from your talk or your means your opinion on this subject matter is this: learning should prevail. So that's the thing, and one has to keep herself or himself updating in these core areas, because technology is very fastly changing. So it's not like that you are just stick to your syllabus and uh, completing your graduation or your masters and just फिर आप बैठे हुए हैं और कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे हैं and all these things. So it's a great session with you, Professor Watson. Of course, this great opportunity is coming up from the coming session. In the next session, this I have Drishti, that link I have already shared with our participants. Please do visit on this website and take the advantage of the expertise and opportunities available at IIT Jodhpur in this AI sector. And it's unless and until our students are not means able to grab the opportunities lying across the India in different institutions, means then it will be very difficult for us to create an means good talent pool in India. When we will compare ourselves with China or Canada or US, first we have to create the talent pool, and the talent pool will be created when such kind of opportunities they are available in different institutions. And our tier 2 and tier 3 cities, new colleges or different colleges, they should also adopt this strategy. Then only we will be able to create such kind of ecosystem in India. So thank you, Professor Watts, for your time here and on sharing all these nitty-gritties of this AI ecosystem in India and the picture across the globe. So nice of you. Thank you for this wonderful talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manu, for inviting, and thanks to all the participants to listening. And I hope some of you get motivated and probably contribute back to the country with respect to building newer and newer AI technologies.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.